You wanted to watch the next season of The Promised Neverland. Well, let's recap season 1 and go over this amazing series. The Promised Neverland. This was a very interesting idea for a title because I know personally it kept me away from watching this show as the title gives off this childlike innocence and weird Michael Jackson vibes. So I kept putting season 1 off for the longest time. I even tried getting my friends to watch this series and they kept putting it off for the same reasons. I'm so happy that I changed my mind because this is honestly one of the best seasons of an anime I've ever watched. From beginning to end, it was absolute perfection with its pacing, storytelling, twists and turns, and that psychological thriller aspect that keeps me glued to the screen. So we start right off with meeting our main cast of characters, Emma, Norman, and Ray, who are all best friends living within this orphanage. We then get to meet the caretaker of the orphanage, Isabella, who the children refer to as Mama. The children are all super happy and don't have a single thing to worry about. Connie, who's only 6 years old, is being adopted. All the children say their goodbyes and she heads off with Isabella to the gate where the children are forbidden. Emma and Norman notice Connie forgot her stuffed bunny and so they decided to run out and give it back to her before she's gone. They got to the gates and noticed nobody's around, but something doesn't seem right. And so they approach the gate and sure enough, they notice Connie was murdered. A detail to note was the flower implanted into the chest of Connie's corpse. And if that wasn't shocking enough, both Emma and Norman have to hide. And as they do, they notice demons approaching. That's right, demons. You can imagine in this situation, your brain would probably just shut down completely as you are unable to fathom what you are honestly looking at. You have to remember, these children knew nothing about the outside world, so demons wasn't even a thought. Luckily, they put themselves together and head back to the orphanage before Isabella gets there. But they dropped Connie's bunny, so Isabella knows someone was at the gate. Now, if this wasn't exciting enough, this is where the show truly hooks me. It's the intellectual mystery that unfolds as we see Norman realize they have to escape this orphanage if they want to survive. They were able to figure out that test scores correlated with better tasting brains, and at the age of 12-13, with perfect test scores, determines the best tasting brains. This is why Connie, who had poor scores in class, was sent out at 6 years old, as she wasn't going to be worth much. Norman also notes a child is shipped out every 2 months, and with this information they can make an escape plan. This entire time, as they are conjuring up a plan to escape, they have to act as if nothing is going on, and the anime does such an amazing job with the psychological mind games that the children have to endure.
Ohayo, Emma.
The children find a point in the forest where they believe this will be the best way to escape. They take note at how tall the wall is, so they scrounge together bed sheets and hide them out in the forest. It's at this time they also learn Isabella has a tracking device on all the children. Ray has been suspicious of Emma and Norman and follow them into the forest, and this is where they also bring Ray into the fold to help them with the escape plans. Ray wants only the strongest children to escape with them, while Emma wants to bring everyone with them, and Norman just wants to keep Emma happy and always smiling, so he's willing to compromise and give up the best strategy for one that's less effective. A new character joins the battle, and we have Sister Crone, who's been hired by Isabella and realizes their escape plan has just become that much more difficult to accomplish.
Yes, Mom, Isabella.
They first need to solve the tracking device issue and figure out where the tracking device was implanted. It was thanks to Emma, as she was taking care of the new foster kid, she noticed the implant behind the ear. So as they try to find a way to disable the tracking device, they decided to use the game of hide and seek as a way to train the children to escape and become better at decision making, along with building up their endurance and speed without them even realizing it, and doing this all right under Isabella's nose. We learn as well that Crone has goals of her own and she wants to expose Isabella as an incompetent caretaker. That way she can overthrow her and become the new mom of the farm. Oh, I mean, orphanage. Gilda and Dawn get introduced to the team to help with the training of the younger children, but Norman is aware that a traitor is among them and comes up with a plan to expose them. Through this strategy, he finds out it was Ray the entire time who was the informant for Isabella. We find out Ray's position is more complicated. Ray knew his entire life about the shipping of humans to the demons. As he says himself, he never experienced infantile amnesia. He agreed to spy on his siblings for Isabella, and in return he has gained small favors and the promise not to be shipped immediately.
ご褒美をきっちりもらうよ。もちろんよ。取引だもの。
Though we also find out that Ray was actually acting as a double agent and utilizing being Isabella's informant to help Norman and Emma, and misdirect Isabella or provide inside information to them. I'm really hoping we get to learn more about these books that they find. We know the books belong to William Minerva, and each book has an owl logo with a circle around it. They realize these books together make a word in Morse code, and it says farm. They know these books have a message as they notice another word that says promise. So I hope we get to dive deeper into this mystery, as this has so many questions that needs answers. Moving forward, Ray finds out he will be the next one getting shipped, and Crone offers her assistance to help the children escape, but Isabella was 2 steps ahead and handed Crone a letter stating she will be a mother at another plantation. She meets up with her superior grandma, who then has her eaten by a demon. Isabella talks to Emma and Norman truthfully for the first time, and states Norman will be shipped out the following day. Emma is furious and attacks Isabella as her leg is broken. The pressure is on as Emma and Ray try to come up with a plan to help Norman escape, and so Norman flees and climbs up the wall, and that's when he realizes there's no way to escape. He accepts defeat and heads back so he can relay this important information to them, and by doing so, he gives up his own life to save all of them. The next day, Norman must leave with Isabella and head to the gate, and that's the last time we see him. Ray and Emma are in complete despair and struggling to go on as Isabella looks on, but this is when things go off the rails. Ray gets Isabella's attention and pours gasoline on himself, and we hear a scream from Emma as we look onto a burning corpse. We find out that Norman knew that Ray was going to kill himself, and so Norman came up with a better plan to have Sausage's hair and have Ray cut his ear off to leave the tracker behind, so Isabella thinks Ray is on fire. This gives them the time to escape as Emma also cuts her ear off and removes the tracker, and we catch up with Emma and Ray at the wall as they look on to see freedom on the other side. They deploy their strategy, and the kids start to make their way across, over to the other side with the hangers. Ray has a touching moment with Norman, who isn't actually there, and it's in his mind. But we see Isabella is on her way, and Emma is the last one to cross. Isabella accepted defeat as the children outsmarted her and all escaped to the other side, and Isabella couldn't do a thing about it at this point. So she heads back to the burning house where the children 4 and under were left behind, and Emma vowed she would be back for them as no child before the age of 6 is sent off to be food for the demons. Isabella sits with the children and doesn't even look upset, and actually seems content, and hopes the best for the children as she awaits punishment from the superiors. And that's it. That's the recap to season 1. Season 2 is now airing, and I'm so ready to get into it. I absolutely thought season 1 is one of the best seasons to a show I've ever watched, and it's right up there with my favorite show of all time, Steins Gate. I'm hoping we get some insight to Norman, as we didn't get to see what happened to him, and maybe we will see Isabella, or her fate is already sealed with the demons. I'm pumped to see what lies beyond the wall, and if they will be able to find other humans of settlements hiding out and slowly create their rebellion. So now that you are refreshed on the season, are you ready for season 2, and what are you looking forward to the most? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next video.